now let's get into adding time. You can track employee time for payroll, or you can track time in general for billing. If you're a freelancer, or if you are a company who has employees who are billing for consultancy, something like that, then the invoice generator is really helpful. So you track time the same way though, and it just depends on your end result with the path that you choose at the end of tracking time. And so I'll show you both here. So you can add hours manually by adding a day. You can type in times that way. You can type in either hours or start and end times, or from the admin screen, you can punch buttons here. And these are really handy if you're in the field. These are not recommended for editing. These are more like real time, like you're in the field and you've got 10 employees and you want to punch everyone out at the same time. This is really handy. Or if you're an admin tracking your own time, it's handy. And the third way is from the employee screen. And so they will punch in and they can use it from any device. Generally, a mobile phone is probably the most common, but you're able to do that. And if you have GPS on, you have no need to worry about where they're at, because you will see the pin show up here as to where they're at. So let's get started here with adding a day manually. So if I click add a day, I go in here and I choose my date. Let's say the 11th. It's work. This is where your drop downs would be for whether it's PTO or work. You can type in a project. Employee number and employee name are critical here because that's how everything is going to be grouped. So especially for overtime or something like that. So you want to make sure you get this right. So I will do, let's do this one. And job you can type in, location if you want, 5 o'clock a.m., let's say 7 o'clock a.m. This is our first shift. And you can type in more times here if you wanted, but you can see your hours are updating. If you were to type in a break here, you will see your hours deducting. So really critical to know, the employee page also has a break timer, and those are both tied together. So let me hit save here and show you what I mean. So if you go over to the employee page and you were to clock in and click break, the break timer will start. And if you click end break, then it's going to put it right here in this field, and it will deduct from the hours. So a good use case for that is if you've got people who you want to just clock in for the entire day, and maybe you just have them time their break. It will take a lunch break away, or if you wanted to at the end of the day type in 30 minutes for lunch, whatever it may be, like a standard break, then that is a great way to do it, and it will deduct the 30 minutes from the total hours there. So as you can see, regular and OT are here. Our rule is set to daily, so if our hours went over 8 hours, you would see that this split would be here. And now over here in the summary cards, you added your time, and it's going to start accumulating here for each employee. So you're going to see by job location and project if it's available, and then you've got your regular overtime. PTO does include all types of PTO. So there are 5 types. There are holiday, custom, personal, vacation, and sick. And so those are all grouped in there, but in your payroll report, which I'll show you in a little bit, they are split out so you can map the hours over better. Okay, so that is how you manually type an entry in. Now, if I wanted to punch this person back in, this is a great use for the admin punch buttons. I would just hit start. Now, notice though, I kind of made a mistake there, which is a good one to highlight. It flashed that we weren't on the right day, so it will notify you if you try to use these buttons at a time that's not ideal. And so that's a perfect example right there of what I should not have done. So let me show you what is a better way to use those when the alert doesn't go off. So if I bring the employee screen back over here, this is how employees will add time. So you could type their project job and location in, or they can select it here. So under the projects here, you can select one or you can add a new one. All you do is select add new project, and let's say, let's just call this yellow just to make it really obvious. We'll add a project, and now it shows up. I'll show you this later, but this project button is flashing because a new project was added. And so that's really handy to notify employees of like, hey, there's a new project. If you've got this module set up, it really, brings visibility into like, oh, I better check out my project list to make sure I'm capturing everything I need to be working on. So that's why that is blinking, because we've added projects since the last login. And when you click on the button, that will stop blinking. So then yellow, let's say I could type in a job or location if I wanted, or I can leave it blank. Now this little schedule button here, I will show you more when we get into schedule, but there are no shifts scheduled. If there were, then the employee would get a drop down here and they'd be able to see, okay, I'm scheduled for today, so I'm going to clock into my job and location listed. If there is nothing on the schedule, then they can manually type these in. So let's say I'm ready to clock in. GPS is active, punch location is tracked, there's no other tracking. Now I'm in my test account. It is very possible that I have shut off the GPS. I'm not sure. I'm testing from a desktop here to do this video. But in general, you will need to accept, the user will need to accept that they are okay with the GPS tracking. But again, make sure employees are super clear that this is just for the punch. There is no other tracking going on during the day. So, okay, so I clocked out. So let me show you over here now back to the admin screen. Now, or I clocked in, I should say. So, or no, I clocked out. I'm getting my lines mixed up. Okay, so if I go over back here, you can see our clock in was at 7:52 a.m. and it's green. And what's really nice about this is the admin view is really quick and to the point to see who is actively working. And my GPS pin was working. So if I were to click on this, sometimes you need to right click depending on your browser, or you can just click on the pin. But if you open it in a new window, you'll see the location as to where you're at. So that is really handy as well. So yes, so we can see everyone who's working. So now what will happen is if I were to punch the employee out, now we're on the same day, and I use this admin button, perfect. It worked like a charm. So you can see that that worked because we're on the same day, and now you've got your time, and then the employee could punch back in if they wanted to, or however, whatever combination of punching you want to do, but now you've seen how they all work. And just a thing to note too, if you were going past midnight times will split into the next day so that you can track hours by day. That's really important for daily overtime tracking. So let me just show you if we were to add something manually. So let's say 2/9 employee, we'll do the same one here. Actually, let's do a different one. Type in again, employee number and name, very, very important. Job location, all of that. Let's say we were starting at 10 o'clock p.m. and we went working till 2 o'clock a.m. and I'm gonna save that. It's going to split your day. So what's happening here is you've got your 10 o'clock p.m. to 12 a.m. and now you've got your 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. on the next day. And so you'll still have your 4 total hours, but that is how the midnight split will work. And the same situation, if you were to punch in and out over midnight in the second half, it will bump it into the next day. And so if you go down here to the employee hours, again, you can see every single row is going to be summarized here to make it easy to check out. And then you've got your total hours here. So I believe that's everything for adding days. If you wanted to add PTO, all you would do is change the drop down to PTO when you add the time. And one other thing to note is for purposes of audits and compliance, I do make sure that you have to completely delete a row if you want to change the date. So if you were to add a day and you change you choose your date, you've got your one row. If you wanted to go back in and edit that, you will need to completely delete the row and start over. So you only get one shot with the manual adding a day to add the correct day. So just make a note of that as well. And then your audit log is down here. And if you have any questions, you can check out down here. You can search, like punch, and it will filter out. Or you can copy the whole audit log to Excel if you wanted to keep track of it. But if there's any questions, you can see who's clocked in, who's punching them in and out, whether it was an admin doing it or the employee themselves, the time and such that they did. So that can be really handy for auditing as well. And you can just hide that if you don't want to look at it all the time. So now the really important thing here is how do we do something with these hours? So if you were a manager, admin, tracking employee hours for payroll, you would just hit copy to payroll, and then you can quickly put that into a spreadsheet. So I'm gonna hit copy time for payroll, and if I come over here and I paste it, you can see you've got each day, you've got every row that was exactly on the screen, and you've got your punches, and these are the key columns in general for pretty much any payroll system to map to. So you're going to need your regular hours, your total hours, all of your vacation, your overtime split out, And so as long as you have all of those items and you've got your employee number here and your employee name with the dates, you can map this to any payroll system. So that's how that works if you were going to do payroll. Then you've got copy summary. That is more for the purpose of just wanting a quick summary of what's going on. So again, if we paste that here, you can see by employee for the particular week. You can see this is their regular hours, OT, total PTO, and their total hours. So those are the couple summaries there for time. Now the invoice generator, this by default is selecting everyone. And if I just hit generate invoice, it's going to group everyone here by name or job, location, project. It's going to make sure that that row is unique. And then your hours are here, and you can type in a rate if you wish. I meant to do 50. You can do 50 here, but if you do 5, so you can see that the rates are showing up here. So you've got your total here, and you can type in a tax rate here. This would be in percentage, and it will convert it over to dollars here. And go ahead and fill out all the information. Upload your logo if you wish. Track your invoice numbers. I'm going to put an invoice number on here to show you the audit log. We'll call it number 500, and we could type in. And then let's hit download invoice. And again, we're gonna open the file here. So now your invoice is here, and you can see, if you would have put all your information in, it would be here, but you've got a really nice looking invoice here. And this was based on the values you selected. Now, if you close this and we close our modal and you only wanted time from a particular row, you just deselect and then you can pick the row. So let's say you just wanted to track this one for this yellow project here, generate the invoice, and it will just show you those hours there. And so if you want to type in your value, whatever it might be, you can do that. And again, download your invoice, and then your invoice will just show you the single line. So it's really easy to do. Like I said, you're tracking your time all week or whatever it might be, or you're entering your values in. All you do here is just check the box and generate your invoice. And so that's how you add time, and that's how you bill it, or that's how you can put it into a spreadsheet to get it sent over to payroll to map over to any system.